Solana enters the crypto mobile space with the launch of a new Web3 smartphone called Saga. Instagram opens up their Instagram Reels API to third-party developers and platforms. You can have your blog post inside Twitter. Twitter launches a new feature called Notes, which is a long-form text blog feature. All this and much more coming up in this week's edition of the Connected Church News with me, Nachi Lazarus. Welcome. This is the show that brings you the top 5 digital, social, and Web3 news you need to know for this week in just 5 minutes. Let's get started. Twitter made announcements about 2 features that could be helpful for you as a non-profit or a church. First is a feature called Notes, which is a blog feature, a long-form text content feature that is going to be inside Twitter. Twitter has been playing around with this idea for a while, but now they have announced this feature where you can write 2,500 character blogs, and then that will appear once you have your blog. It will appear as a card in your Twitter feed, and you can retweet, promote it, share it with your audience. So it could be interesting and especially useful if you want to share a long form transformative type of a text content on Twitter. The second feature is about the ease in which you can start spaces. Twitter has added 2 more ways in which you can kickstart your Spaces conversation, Twitter Spaces conversation. First is through directly from the Twitter composer, and second is from the retweet menu. Even from a retweet menu, you can start your Twitter Spaces. Instagram announced that they are opening up Instagram Reels API access to more third-party platforms and developers. Now, what this means for you and me as nonprofits and churches is more platforms like Hootsuite and Sprout Social and Agora Pulse and all these platforms that we use for social media management will start getting Reels capability, which is good for our workflow because we use volunteers and staff and people to manage our social media, especially Instagram. And today, not being able to schedule Reels or manage Reels on these platforms is becoming a problem. You have to go directly to Instagram app, which means you have to give access and so on. So now that could get resolved in the days to come because Instagram says that they are giving access to the scope of access on content publishing, insights, comment moderation, and more to these third-party developers and platforms, which is great. YouTube has released this year 2022 edition of their Culture and Trends report. And this year the report is focusing on Gen Z, Generation Z, and they've talked to the creators and viewers from this generation. There are some interesting statistics that you as a leader of a nonprofit or a church do not want to miss. For example, I'll give you one statistic. 65% of Gen Z, online 18 to 24-year-olds, agree that content that's personally relevant to them is more important than content that lots of other people talk about. Right? Talk about trending content. You always think trending content is more important, but younger people are saying, look, what is relevant to us is more important than what is trending. So your social media strategy can change based on this information. In fact, I'll read you just one more, which says 83% of Gen Z have used YouTube to watch soothing content that helps them relax. So as ministries, this kind of information is important for us to understand and produce content accordingly. Meta made a couple of announcements. One is about rebranding of Facebook Pay to Meta Pay. So now the whole payment option will be called Meta Pay, and you can register for it. The article actually outlines way in which you can register for it and use it. So if you've not yet checked out Meta Pay, then you might want to check it out because it is integrated into Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and everything Meta. The second announcement is an interesting one about audio features that they are bringing. 3 new artificial intelligent audio features they are bringing to AR and VR. So as you know, Meta is very focused on the VR space. So the announcement says they are bringing 3 models, which is visual acoustic matching, visually informed de-reverberation, and visual voice. Don't worry about the jargons. What you need to know as a nonprofit ministry is that audio on AR and VR is going to get better because of these models. So Meta is focusing on making audio better, which is great because we are all about audio, messages, songs, worship, all of that. In our Web3 news, we have an interesting announcement about one of the first Web3 or crypto-based smartphones being launched. Solana Labs, which represents the founders and the community behind Solana blockchain network, which is one of the top blockchain networks, made an announcement that they are releasing two things. One is a Web3 crypto-based smartphone that is coming in 2023. This is called Saga. I will link to the full website. Do have a look. It's very fascinating, interesting to think that your phone will actually be a decentralized phone. In some way, the technology will be decentralized. So it's very interesting to have a look at the future of smartphone, if this is going to go in the direction it's going. The second announcement is about the software development kit. Obviously, you need software and apps that run this. So they've also released a software development kit called Solana Mobile Stack SMS. Do you have any questions or doubts or thoughts or comments about any of the 5 news items we shared? Then you can DM me at Nachi Lazarus on Instagram or Twitter. Thank you. We've got all the source links and details in the description section wherever you're listening to me, so that you can dig deeper into any of the stories if you want to. We also have those details in our news page, nachilazarus.com/news. Do have a look. I'll see you next week with another set of news items. Until then, you stay connected, stay blessed, take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.